I have some really good news to share with you. In my observation of horses and riders in all sorts of different situations and contexts, I have discovered, or maybe just observed, that you guys, you all know how to ride. If you've ever taken a riding lesson or three, or read a book about riding or classical horsemanship, or spent enough time at a barn to see how things go with horses and gotten a few tips, I think you pretty much know how to ride a horse, because actually riding a horse is not very complicated. It's not very easy to do with your body, but it's not terribly complicated. You sit in the middle, you don't fall off, your legs should be, shoulder, hip, heel. You want to be in balance and athletic and all of the things that you already know you're supposed to be doing. The things that I would have told you as a riding instructor before I discovered Hanna Somatics: to keep your shoulders straight, to look where you're going, to not collapse one hip, or have equal weight on your seat bones, keep your heels down, turn your knees this way or that, have your elbows bent at a certain angle, not to break at the wrist. And what I observed is that not everyone can follow those kind of instructions when they're having a riding lesson or thinking about what to do with their body. Not because they don't understand it or don't hear them, but because many of us don't have the body awareness or the fine motor control or the feeling of where our body is in space to be able to put those things into action. So someone can be riding a horse and have their shoulders be a little crooked, one higher than the other, and be told to straighten it out, and they can't straighten it out because their feeling, their body image is that their shoulders are straight. The rest of us can see that they're crooked, but the one who lives in that body can't necessarily feel it, because our brain is uber adaptable, and all this stuff happens to us in life that we then have to compensate for. Even things that aren't actual injuries, repetitive motion, or the way we sit in a chair, or carrying a bag over your shoulder will actually cause you to carry that shoulder higher, and your body and brain just adapt to that, and that becomes your new normal. That distorts our body image of where straight is, and then we go to sit on a horse and we carry all those things with us. So if you can't ride perfectly, it's much more likely that you just need a little more body awareness and need to find and release some old patterns than that you need someone to yell at you to look where you're going and sit straight and drop your right hip and all of those other things that riding instructors like to say. The good news I have for you is that using Hanna Somatics and somatic movement, it's actually pretty easy to work through the muscle groups in your body, find old patterns, and help your brain reset them. It's almost like a reboot button, a little brain hack that we can do using the sensory motor cortex, the front part of your brain, to adjust the postural pattern that's stored in the back part of your brain, like in the brainstem and the cerebellum. Using somatic movement, we can very quickly, just in 3 repetitions, oftentimes release chronically contracted muscles that are being contracted only because of a pattern that's the response or a compensation for something that happened to you 5 months ago, even 10 years ago. These patterns can be released, which can free you to be in balance, to be straight, to be able to feel whether you're looking where you're going or you're crooked, so that when you get on your horse, you can put all of that information that you've accumulated, even if it's just from one riding lesson. Most of us have done quite a lot more than that and are still frustrated that we can't sit right on a horse. But you can take all that intellectual information and all that learning that you have invested in, and you can put it into action by getting your body to be obedient and relaxed in the saddle.